Welcome to Coffee and the Bull.
Well, we are live. Hey everybody, Mike and John with Coffee and the Bull.
Hey guys.
So what we're going to try to do tonight is Mike's a little depressed because he doesn't know how brown the cow is. And
Yeah. You ever get stuck working with somebody and they just really annoy you?
you
And-
say
but
stuck.
but
like
you can't swap them out because there's a lack of options around. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like if ever there's a representation of the workforce, it's inside this room because there's people with quality work ethics and stuff like that, and you have the people who just goof around. That's where we're at. Is I'm stuck with, we do audio checks and it's how now brown cow, like you're not Ron Burgundy, you're not Will Ferrell, you're not making a bunch of money off of this. So how about we just try to do a nice solid content. So hey guys, Mike and John with Coffee and the Bull.
I hate my life.
Thank y'all for taking a moment out of your day and listen to this episode. I hope it brings some aggravation to your life for once. Who knows? Because anyway, that's what he's causing for my life right now.
I'm okay. Thank you, Giggle Fart 044 for liking the live. I don't know, but Giggle
Somebody's
Fart
name is Giggle Fart.
044.
Okay, so ignoring the fact for those of y'all who are going to be on YouTube and Spotify, listen to this. We're actually going live at the same time also. So John's probably going to be distracted a little bit because he's a child with his phone.
Hey.
But we're going to start off
Teenager
today.
at
We started a live session the other day discussing this, and we wanted to circle back around and touch to it on those of y'all who aren't on TikTok or anything like that. And it's honestly going to be a wife bashing session or significant other bashing session is how we start off.
Right.
It's just, but it's going to be our own little take. Coffee and the Bull's approach to talking crap about our wives, because we're not actually going to talk crap about them. We're going to tell some of the things that some of the dumb things that they do. Now we're not going to reference certain stories that somebody referenced last time and get us kicked off alive. But
My bad.
yeah, so
Sorry about that.
one of the things, the story that kind of kicked it off, it was something that my wife laughs about now. I laugh about it now. I didn't laugh about it so much at the time, although it didn't take very long to become something that we kind of giggled about. There was a time where we were actually living in a camper. We were in the middle of selling our house, and we spent right at a year and a half living inside of a camper. And that was. She was working. Luckily, she was working out of town for about 8 days on.
Right.
She'd be gone for 8 days and be home for 6. And so we kind of got a little bit of a vacation from each other. And if you've never been married, you don't really understand. But every married guy out there was like, man, I could deal with 6 days or 8 days every 2 weeks away from my wife. It's not that you don't love them, but we all drive each other up the wall. So she was working out of town. But somehow in the middle of us, we had downsized to live in this camper. Somehow she convinced me to go and buy a dog.
Speaking
of dogs, you could not have timed it better.
Have done that any better,
Doc,
Doc.
you need to go on.
Go on, baby. Go to bed. You're not.
And Doc is also messing with he's been flirting with our cameraman or computer guy all day.
Come here,
If
big
anybody
guy.
needs a bald-headed, goatee-wearing
Come on.
computer guy, give us
Ladies,
an email.
if you're single,
at
we got a guy.
coffeeandthebull@yahoo.com.
He's,
We'll be more than happy to hook you up.
He's 6'4", maybe 300 pounds, a solid. I'm lying.
Yeah.
He's still
Anyway,
bald though.
So back to what we were talking about. She convinced me while we're living in this camper to go buy a dog. We had one dog already, and she wanted to get a second dog, and so we go to the animal shelter, and we wind up finding a.
What's the matter?
I'm sorry. Can we please get
Yeah.
the door shut?
Come on, buddy.
For those of y'all on live, I'm sorry. There's a bunch of other noise coming through because somebody opened a couple of our doors.
The dog opened the door himself. I'm sorry. Doc
Anyway.
is a diva, and he likes to be a part of the show.
So anyway, back to the story. She convinced me to buy this dog. So we go and we get this little small, blue heeler wire hair terrier mix. He's a beautiful dog. His name's Gus, and
He's now a grumpy old man.
he's now a grumpy old man because he's 10 years old. But
Right.
at the time, he was obviously not 10 years old, and he was full of energy and everything else. So while she's out of town, she's working out of town. I'm working in the plants. I'm doing boiler making work at the time, and just fancy words for turning big old wrenches in the refineries. But I would come in after working a 10 or 12 hour shift, and I'd let the dogs out, let them run around, go in, take a shower, do all that whole thing. Well, I opened the door one day. I let the dogs out. We had Gus and Abel. They go outside. They run around the yard or whatever. So I go inside, get something to drink or whatever, and I step. I took my boots off and I'm stepping, walking across the floor, and I get this little like prickly sensation on my feet, on the bottom of my feet. And I'm like, what in the world, man? I look down, and there's rice, like long grain white rice everywhere. And I'm not talking about like in a pile and it might have spilled out, made a little wide circle. I'm talking about from one end of the camper to the other, from the nose to the tail. There's rice everywhere. And I'm talking about in the carpet, and like just everywhere, on the couch, in the recliners, everywhere. There's rice everywhere. And I'm like, how in the world? One, I didn't know we had rice because we're in a camper. Our pantry was that big, so you're not putting a bunch of stuff in there. So I go through and I find a bag. Evidently, there was a 1 pound bag of rice that this dog had found. And when he grabbed it, I guess when he bit down on it, he liked the sensation that it gave his teeth. And so he took and sent rice everywhere. It's just all over the place, like that puppy shaking side to side type thing. And it went absolutely everywhere. So I scratched my head for a minute. Like, I don't know if you know this about me. It's going to be a secret. I get frustrated really quickly.
No.
And
really?
It's like, I would love to see what my blood pressure is at random times, but I know at this point in time, like I'm looking at all this rice, and I'm mad at this dog. Now, granted, this dog has no clue that I'm mad at him. He's run up to me. At the time, he was playing with a pine cone. I would grab pine cones, throw them, and he'd go chase them, throw them across the yard. He'd have a blast with that. So I take and I clean up the rice. I don't know if you know how hard it is to clean up rice out of carpet. It's not. You don't just sweep that up in a pile. So it took a long time getting all this cleaned up. And on top of, I don't know if you know how much rice fits in a 1 pound bag. It's a lot of rice. It doesn't look like that big. When it's in a bag this big, it doesn't look like it's that much. When it's everywhere, it's a whole different animal. So we clean it up. And I don't know if maybe this is the technical version of foreshadowing. I go to work the next day. Figure this one out, right? I come home. She's still working out of town. So I come home from a long day of work. And I'm tired, right? My feet are tired. So I take my boots off outside the camper. I open the door, let the dogs out. And it's like deja vu. Or day number 2, so deja 2, right? So I walk in the camper, and I step down on this little prickly stuff on the floor. Once again, hey, they're high-quality jokes. They can't all be bangers, okay? I step down on the floor, and once again, there's this crunchy sensation under my feet. And I look, and it's like somebody took all the rice I took yesterday and threw it out. Well, I look in the garbage can. All the rice I had in the garbage can is still in the garbage can. This dog had found another bag of rice.
At this point, you still have no idea the dog knows.
I have no idea the dog knows. One, I don't know where he's getting rice. Like, I don't know if maybe one of my friends are playing jokes. Like they're walking into the camper, tossing a bag of rice like a grenade, and walking out hoping the dog gets to it. Like, I don't know what's going on here. I just know there's rice everywhere. I'm tired. I don't feel like bending over, cleaning all this stuff up. So I get it cleaned up. Day 3. Guess how this goes, right? And I know, like, we're playing a magic trick here on your brain. Like, you might be a detective. You can figure out what's going to happen on day 3 when I get to the camper or the door. So I open the door of the camper, and I don't even walk inside now. I just expect rice on the floor. Well, good thing expectations get answered, because as soon as I look in, I see rice everywhere, right? So now I'm disassembling everything. Like I'm looking, under in the cabinets everywhere. Again, our pantry's this big. There's not a lot of stuff fitting in there, and it's full. None of it's rice, because at the time I didn't cook a lot like I cook now. I would expect rice to be in my house now. I didn't cook then, much less rice. I didn't have a rice cooker. I didn't know the different techniques to cook rice, and you boil water, add rice to it. No, I didn't do any of that. So I don't know why we have rice to begin with, right? So I'm going through, and I look under the kitchen table, and for anybody who's never lived in a camper, you're like, oh, well, why wouldn't you look under the kitchen table? Like, if you lived in a camper, you realize they position them things where you don't really use them that often.
Right.
You're
not like looking under it.
I had a couch and 2 recliners. Why would I use a kitchen table? Like, I'll just eat in a recliner, And go under the kitchen table, and there's a cardboard box. And in my brain, I go, that's odd, because we didn't need a cardboard box, right? Open this box up, and it is slammed full of nothing but 1 pound bags of rice. My wife decided it was a great idea. I have no idea who she got it from, why she got it, or whatever. Like, but she had this box of rice underneath the kitchen table, and he'd just been going in. He'd get one, wear himself out, scattering rice like it's an Easter egg hunt, He scattered rice all across the camper. I guess he'd go lay down, take a nap, realizing, hey, I've done my duty for the day. He's planting rice like a farmer.
I've destroyed this bag
right.
of rice.
All he needed to do was, get a watering source. He could have had a rice paddy for him or something. But so I call her, and I'm like, it wasn't the conversation of, hey, baby, how's your day going? Well, I'm having a good day too. It wasn't one of those conversations, where you're trying to be nice. It start off as soon as she answered, I'm like, why in the hell do we have 95 bags of rice in the camper? And why have you not told me when I told you yesterday this dog had been throwing rice everywhere, that's where it would be? She didn't bother telling me, hey, there might be a source for your frustration underneath the kitchen table. No, she kept all that to herself. And so I was mad at her, man, because it was like, how dumb could you be? One, we don't eat rice. We're not running a restaurant. We don't need 17.
Where'd that bag of rice come from? By the way,
I have no clue.
Of rice. You don't know?
I have no idea where all the bags of rice come from.
I do.
No, you don't.
Your sister-in-law gave it to your wife.
Well, there you go.
You want to know how I know?
No.
Because our comments from somebody say that your sister-in-law gave it to me.
Okay, well, be a snitch then. Anyway, so she's got all this rice, and I remember we had the argument where it's like, this is dumb. Why would you have this going on? And her response was she was trying to get us to save some money. Now, somehow in the female brain, us saving money involved me cooking rice while she's going. Like, I guess that's all I'm getting is like prison food.
I just told you.
I know she's listening. This is not going to surprise anybody who knows us. Like random listeners might be like, oh, he's talking about his wife in front of her. Scandalous, No, I'll say this to her face. Like, this is not catching her by surprise
I know you
at all.
I know you do.
But it was one of the things where she's like, she had got that, and she
Since
wanted.
she's watching, I want to point out that your feet are on the coffee table, mine are not.
That's fine. She can be mad at me. It is what it is. But anyway, one of the things she wanted to do was have us save money. At the time we were going out to eat all the time. If she was home, we were going out to restaurants. It's never cheap to eat at restaurants. And I think I listened to a couple of the Dave Ramsey shows where he's like rice and beans and rice. Well, evidently she missed the part where there's beans involved in it because all she had was rice. And I guess I'm on a prison food diet. Like, we're just getting a bowl of rice today. But so there was, it was one of those instances where I wanted to be mad at her because, hey, it was dumb. Let's be honest. We'll call a spade a spade. It was dumb. But there was a motive behind it that was pure. It was
genuine. She wasn't
genuine. She wasn't just trying to be like, hey, this is all you're going to get, because she knew I wasn't going to eat rice. But she also didn't tell me there was rice there. So that was I guess
I got this rice to save us money.
Yeah,
and so we could eat something. But
I'm not even going to tell you about it. Right?
There's rice.
I honestly think she had. I don't know how you train a puppy that's never eaten rice in his life to go grab a bag of rice and shake it across the house. I feel like she, them toys that they take and they put dog treats in, and the dog's got to fight all day to get the toy to come through. I feel like she might have shoved some dog treats in there,
just trained him to go
and that's how she got him to do it. But
I'm just saying, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see her. I could see that being her practical joke. Yeah, saying, "Watch this. Right. Oh, you think you'll have a nice, relaxing day when you come in from work? Here you go.
15 years
here's
later,
an hour and a half worth of cleaning work you get to do. Guarantee you what was clean when she came home? The floors. Right. She didn't have to sweep those floors that time she come home. So hey, ladies, I know we typically have a larger female audience than we do males. Right. If your guy's not cleaning the house,
explode a bag of rice.
Get a dog. Get a dog. Give him rice. That's all you got to do. That house will be spotless. You'll be divorced, but
right.
There's that.
Have you ever had her get mad at you for something that
yes,
you had nothing to do with?
Huh? No. Normally, normally
I'm the bane of her
normally
existence.
I'm the source of her anger. I'm not. very few times has she been mad at me and had not been justified. Actually, so few times. I can't think. If you give me about 10 minutes, I might think of something. I might be able to construct something. But I honestly think there's not a story that she's been mad at me that I didn't earn.
So my first ex-wife, we had so I was in the Army, and after I got in the Marine Corps, I went in the Army. Yeah, surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. I fought for your freedom and what you fear. But
Yep.
anyway, back to when you were in college.
Horses?
Yeah, I did fight horses once. I punched a horse once. I did not. That's
You're a bigger man. You're a bigger man than me.
Like I got guts, but I'm not punching a horse. I feel like that's you're asking for.
There's too many people who watch Yellowstone. They would come after you.
Right.
Like
in today's world. Yeah. No, so the unit that I was in, it was an Arista unit. It was a mix of infantry guys and cavalry guys, and the cavalry guys all had cowboy hats. And we got to wear your Stetsons and spurs on Friday. It's stupid. I hated it. 'Cause I'm an infantry guy. So
that's Air Cav, right? No, Cav Scout. Cav Scout.
Cav Scout. There you go.
Cav Scout.
There you go.
Thank you, Scott Clay.
Yeah. So anyway, my first sergeant, he was an infantry guy, but he was like, "Look, we're in an Arista unit. We got to wear the hats and the spurs like everybody else." So I get this hat, and I get the biggest, stupidest hat. I still have it. All right. I intentionally buy a hat that is 3 sizes too big. And I put it on, and I get this band that goes around, and it's got these ropes that come down with these big acorns on the end of it, right? And I get the longest one that they have, so that on Fridays when we'd have to wear them, I would walk in, and I would shake my head. The whole hat would shift around on my head. These acorns would bounce side to side, and it was just obnoxious. And I would come in, and they'd be like, "Sergeant Irwin, what are you doing?"
I don't know that I could see you being obnoxious.
No, never. And I would go, "It's funny effing hat day, mother effers," and I would just shake my head like that and bounce this stupid thing around. And it was me just trying to mock the Cav Scouts. And one day, we're having a big barbecue at my house, and my first ex-wife named Jen, sweet girl. Another guy's wife, I think it was his girlfriend at the time, I'm not sure, she had picked up my hat, puts it on, takes a picture of herself wearing my hat, and posts it on her MySpace. I know, I'm that old. And my ex-wife comes up to me like 2 days later, mad. And I'm talking like, dropped my dinner in my lap, didn't bring me anything to drink. And I was looking at her, and I was like, what did I do? Believe me, I know I earned it. What did I do? I've only been in this house for 3.5 minutes. Like, you knew when I was coming home. Right. I didn't ask you to make dinner. Like, what did I do? And she goes, you weren't going to tell me? She took a picture with your hat on? And I was like, who are we talking about? And what hat?
Who? What are you, an owl?
Right.
All of a sudden?
Right. Like, I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about right now. So, and this is back before, like, your phone actually could pull up, like, Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would flip.
Right. So she's like, drags me to the computer to, like, look at this girl's picture. And she goes, this. And I was like, first off, you can see me in the background of this photo. I'm outside. I don't see her putting this hat. Like, you could see through the window in the kitchen where I was outside with the guys grilling on a grill. Like, I don't know if she's put this hat on. How are you going to put this evil on me? Like, this is my fault. And you're going to fix it. What do you want me to do? Like, I was outside. And apparently, and I didn't know this because growing up, even though we grew up close to farming and all of that, we weren't rich enough to have cowboy hats, okay? That wasn't a thing. I got Daddy's old hand-me-down ball pop.
I got ball caps.
Like, that's all I had. I didn't know that there was, like, significance behind a cowboy hat. And, like, when a woman wears a man's cowboy hat, that signifies something. Like, I didn't know that. Like, I wasn't rich enough to have a $50 cowboy hat. Like, that wasn't a thing in my house. Oh, she was mad. And, like, it makes me think now of, like, when you're dating somebody. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about because you haven't dated since, BC. And the chick has a dream that the guy cheated on him. Is that what happened to you?
So, I don't know. I know what you're referencing. I don't know that my wife has ever had a dream of me cheating on her and then her be mad at me about it. I do know that there have been times that I've woke up in the middle of the night and, like, my jaw hurt. Or like on the side of my face hurt, and she might have been flipping over real quick. I'm not saying.
I'm so glad you can't see the comments right now. You haven't dated since BB, not BC. I'm sorry.
What is BB?
Well, you know what BC is, right?
Oh, before Brittany.
Yeah.
She's so stupid.
That's her comment. She said BB.
All right, so
dot.
those of y'all in the
Brittany.
comment, again, for everybody on Facebook and Spotify and everything, I'm sorry. This is the first time we're trying this, and evidently we can't not be interrupted by rude people in the comment section.
His wife. He means his wife.
Yeah, I said what I said.
I gotta give it to her though. Like in person, her jokes miss every time. Like yet to have one.
Writing, they're perfect.
Bro,
they're
her
on
comment
point.
section,
They're on point.
Girl is a nail on the head.
Yeah,
like
in real life, it'll be like you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody, and I can't tell you how many times she's done this, and she'll point it out to me where different people will be going back and forth. 5 minutes later, she'll go, "Dang it!" Because she thought of something she could have used 5 minutes ago, but now it's done past.
it was like thinking at that house today, where she's like, "Wait, why did this turn into both of you ganging up on me?" We're like, "Wait." That wasn't what you came in here for,
Right? Right.
You came in here.
So no, I love her to death.
She's every single time.
No, I love her to death, but man. Anyway.
I've said it before. I have never seen a relationship that is as constructionally solid as your guys'. You guys have a very interesting relationship where like it reminded me of being like a little kid sometimes when you guys have your arguments where you're like at your friend's house and his mom and dad are arguing. You look at your buddy and you're like, "Are we in trouble?" Or like, "Did we do this?"
Right.
Or like,
right.
But like 10 minutes later, it's like it never happened, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to go drink?"
Since she decides she wants to listen in on this, this is a guys podcast. It's meant to help guys out, but she wants to be nosy. And I'm sure she's not the only one for all the female people out there. Like we've said several times, this is meant for guys. Y'all,
right? We have a heavy female.
I feel like I should not get in trouble for bringing certain things up if she decides she wants to listen to it and knowing, I did tell her, hey, we're going to do a session where we're going to do
that. That's fair.
We're going to reference dumb things that spouses do. So there was a point in time where somebody in her family, their house flooded, right? And I let them borrow my pickup truck. I didn't need my truck at the time. They needed a vehicle. Both theirs had flooded. So I was like, hey, I'll be, the good Samaritan. I'll help out, y'all my wife's family. That makes us family, or like Italians, whatever. Everybody's family. Like Olive Garden. So I tell them.
Disappointed, and just not to interrupt, but as a child.
Sure, I'm sorry. The middle of my story interrupted your sentence.
I've heard the story like 5 times, guys. It's not that great. So, in the end, he loses his dog to the mailman. It's a whole thing. So, when I was a kid, I used to think that Olive Garden was like the top of the line Italian 5-star restaurant.
And he found out all Italians hate Olive Garden.
Right,
It's sacrilegious.
It's not even real Italian food. Like I legit thought that Olive Garden and Red Lobster were like
that brings up
a
kind of a dumb argument. It's pasta. It's noodles.
Right, no, I'm with you.
It's noodles and cheese and
Alfredo
there's heavy
sauce.
whipping cream.
Yep.
There's butter. Like I don't
wait. So is it heavy whipping or whipped?
Whipped.
Well, okay, but when you go
Heavy
to the store,
whipping
it's whipped cream.
I don't think it is.
Cream.
Whipped cream is something completely different.
No, that's a cool whip. Thank you, Brian Griffin.
Anyway, so back to my story. I let them borrow my truck, right? Because their house
you
flooded.
guys out there are wondering, this is legitimately how arguments and conversations with us go. We will ADD
one day
it
I'm gonna get
all
through.
day.
I'm gonna get through telling the story. That's
and
all I
we
wanna do.
just sidetrack just randomly.
Once. So anyway, back to my story.
Which one?
We take and her family members, their house floods,
Right.
their vehicles flood. They're distraught. Hey, everything they have is now
That's right, Brittany. We have
went under so many feet of water and all this other stuff. So it's like, hey, what we'll do is we'll let you borrow my truck to get back and forth to work, back and forth to your house, do all this other stuff. Unbeknownst to us, right?
Beknownst.
They decide to open.
I don't know why that just came out. I'm sorry.
They decide to run an underwater taxi service to everybody in their neighborhood to get them to their house, right? Like, you could get to your house without going through water. Nay. That's not. We're going to help all these people in the neighborhood who we can't stand, who we're going to call the cops on for loud music. They don't really call the cops on. But anyway, you complain, because their dogs get out and all this other stuff. All these people in the neighborhood who you can't stand, you're going to run them to their house in my truck, which put it underwater several times for extended periods of time on end. So a week later, when I go to get the truck, It is now like it's driving. It started driving kind of funny. I'm going down the interstate about 5 miles from the house, and it starts driving funny. I'm like, that's weird. This will be the part where I describe mechanical issues the same way my wife does. It was making a weird noise out of the thingy, and so as I'm going, I'm like, that's a weird noise coming out of the thingy, and all of a sudden it drops down to second gear. I'm at 70 miles an hour, and it drops to second gear, and it does not would not come out,
Ooh.
And
was
so
it an immediate drop or was it a slow, gradual decrease?
It was
Because there's a difference in my pucker factor.
It was immediate.
Ooh.
It was like the nose of the truck dropped down and everything. Like we slowed down and it was not coming out of second gear. And this is a big diesel truck,
That's a pucker factor 6.
And so I take my time. I get off the road or whatever, or get off the interstate, get it home, and you know how you know what the problem is. Anybody who's ever done any type of mechanic, not even like in-depth certified mechanic, anybody who's really honestly owned a car, when you realize I'm supposed to be going faster than I am and it's not, it's a transmission. And nobody ever replaces nobody's ever like, I got a great deal on getting that transmission replaced. It's always, it was so expensive, like it's a big deal. Yeah. Like that's probably one of the two most important or most expensive parts of the car, minus the car. And so I'm sitting there mad because one, I let you borrow this thing and you didn't take care of it.
Right, kindness in my heart.
But on top of that, like now I've got a massive bill. I don't know what an Allison transmission costs for a diesel truck, but I know it's not a couple $100, and I know that the way my bank account was set up, not to misinterpret Kevin Hart, but the way my bank account was set up is I didn't have more than a couple $100 to throw towards anything.
Right.
Luckily, insurance came through like a bunch of champs. Were like, hey, it's a flooded vehicle, and they told it, and so that gave me the ability to go get another truck, right? And so we go through, and honestly, it was an impractical truck. It was a nice truck. It was nice, newer model truck, real clean, taken care of, leather seats, decked out, like all the different technology, sitting on 38-inch mud tires, right? So I'm excited about 35s. And so 35-inch mud tires. Why is a camera on me like that? I think I talked with my hands. I think one of the signals, it picked up one of the signals.
Maybe.
So anyway, why? So y'all going to get to see Jeff's bald head at some point. I hope. No, he's going to block it out.
Keep her going.
Anyway, so we take and
let's see if I can bring it back. You keep telling your story. I'll fix the technical difficulty.
Anyway, we take and we go. We pick up this truck. That's not working. Guys, I'm sorry. We are having technical difficulties with a camera right now. Well, here, hold on. Let me move out of the way. That's what it is. We got to turn the hand signals on.
It followed you. It followed you all the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's still on you.
How's it still on me? There we go. Now fix it.
This camera loves you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Finish your story. I'll get this camera.
I don't really want to finish the story now.
Technical difficulties with our first line.
Nope.
No
Yep.
judgment, guys.
Yep. You see them feet on the table? All right. I got to talk with Fist now.
I don't know why I hooked on you like that. That was hilarious.
So
I know you don't.
Right. So anyway, we take and we decide to go get this truck, right? And we go.
Greatest technical difficulty ever is a camera chasing you
across
around a room.
So we take and we decide to go get this truck from Mississippi, right? And it's a big jacked up truck or whatever.
I'm not saying that out loud, Brittany.
So we take and what did she say?
I'm not slow. I know I'm slow sometimes, but I haven't found the point of this story yet.
So she made that comment like 5 minutes late. Anyway, so we go and get this truck, right?
She says, wait, I know the point now.
So we go get this truck. We make it back home. Somehow between making it home or leaving the dealership and making it to across the street to Walmart. She loses one of the keys to the truck, right? We're going to glance over that part since she wants to run her mouth in the comment section. So, keep your $800 keys away from my wife. But anyway, so we get home, and I enjoy this truck. Like, I'm happy showing it off to my friends and everything else, right? And she decides one day, while it's still got the temp tag on it, right? Still got a temp tag in the window.
Oh, yeah.
Which, just so you know, the state of Mississippi doesn't give temp tags. We had to get them to mail us a temp tag to stick in the window, so I'm not driving around for 6 weeks waiting on the regular plate to come in,
right,
and without a some type of tag on it, right? So we get the temp tag. It's in the window. Her and my mom decide one day they're going to go pick up a goat, all right? I said what I said, a goat, a fainting goat, because we had a little farm. She wanted a fainting goat. I'm good with it. Let's go get a goat. I'm sleeping because I work night shifts at the time. I'm sleeping. Her and my mom go get a goat, right?
Right.
Before they left, I remember being told to go put a dog kennel in the bed of the truck. I tie the dog kennel down, make it where whatever animals are going to get loaded in the dog kennel is not going to get wind burnt and all this other stuff, right? They show back up. I'm awake, so I go outside because I hear the truck pull up in the driveway. I look, go to the bed of the truck where the dog kennel's at. You know what's not in the kennel or in the dog kennel? There's not a single furry animal anywhere in that kennel. There's nothing in that. Well, nothing with a beating heart in that kennel. So I look at her. I'm like, "Where's the goat at?" To which she starts doing her laugh, right? And she's got this laugh where she knows she just did something I'm going to think is dumb. She's 100% going to do it again. Like, she would not change her course of action based on my response, right?
She thought this was about the keys.
Nope, not about the keys. Got you on that one, didn't you?
I thought this was about the
now
keys.
She knows the point of the story.
It was not.
So we take and I asked her, I said, "Where's the goat at?" At which point she goes to the back door of my truck and opens the door. She shoved not one fainting goat in the back seat of my truck, not two fainting goats in the back seat of my truck, two fainting goats, a bunch of rabbits, and a pygmy goat. I've got 3 goats, not including my mama had 2 goats in the back seat of that truck. I've got a whole barnyard on the back seat of a Ford F-150 Lariat seat. I don't know. So I don't know if you know what all these animals do. Not the first one of those animals in the back seat are litter box trained. They don't go outside. You don't walk them on a leash in the dog park and go. No, they don't even get a sensation. They just poop. That's all they do. Just, hey, time to poop, poop. It doesn't matter where. They could be in church. They don't care. They don't care that they're in the back seat of a brand new pickup truck either. So my wife is sitting there, and she is.
Was there a tarp under them?
I don't know. Don't care. You go. So that's her argument. Is she may? It's alleged that there was a tarp underneath all these animals, right? It doesn't matter. If you think that matters, I want you to go to your vehicle right now, put a bed sheet, tarp, garbage bag, I don't care, put something down, and let a farm animal go take a dump in it, and tell me it's not going to aggravate you. Like, you pay
in a brand new truck. That's about
in a brand new truck. Like, you may take like I've got a 1995 Chevy pickup truck. I'll let a cow crap in there. It doesn't bother me.
She said challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No. I want to see her put a tarp in the back of the. I'll even give her the cargo space of that SUV she just bought. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
So.
Call you bluff on this one.
Yeah. I don't really know. Like, the last story with the rights, hey, there was a point to it where she was trying to make something. I, to this day, don't know why that was the route she decided to go. Like, I don't see I cannot. I understand that a lot of times husbands and wives argue over different things, and sometimes arguments make sense, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get very heated. A lot of the times, those arguments, or at least, in my marriage, those arguments are, most of the time, neither party is listening to the other one. They're mad and they're just yelling at the other one. And I think that's what was not going to be applicable in this one. I honestly think to this day she was 100% wrong in doing that. And I don't know. I can't think of a justifiable reason to open up, Old McDonald's farm in the backseat of my pickup truck.
McDonald's farm.
So, on this episode of Dumb Things My Wife Does.
Right.
So, what funny things have y'all argued about? I'm sorry. Again, for all the Spotify and Facebook people, John's got a phone.
I just want to point out, her defense is that it was fainting goats, and they would have died in the bed of the truck.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They would have fainted. It's literally their job.
They would have.
It's literally their job. Is a faint.
I remember when I met those goats for the first time. I don't remember what we were doing out in that pasture. Like, I don't know what we were out there for, but we'd gone out to that barn area, and you had, like, a bunch of, like, wood that had been, like, laid down with the nails sticking up. Because I remember you going...
Oh, I tore down another barn.
Yeah, and you were like, hey, watch out for the boards. There's nails in them. I was like, okay. And then you were like, don't scare the goats near the boards. And I was like, what? And you're like, they'll faint, and they'll land on the nail in their head, they'll die, and then I have to explain how your stupidness killed the goat. Like,
so one of the things that caught me off guard, and this will be for a lot of the people who you see me now in my more fluffy state, whenever she got these fainting goats, I was fresh out of the police academy, right? And so I had been running a little bit. Now granted, I was by no means Mr. Muscle Bound gym membership type guy, right? But I could run a little bit, and so she got these goats. I'm like, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna be like on them YouTube videos. I'm gonna run after these goats and chase them and watch them fall over. Even a fainting goat can outrun my ass without having to faint. Not once did I ever chase after them goats and then and fall over like that. Not once did now their back legs would lock up a little bit, and they're like, "No, I can still get away from him."
Right.
Like their job, and just to honestly be a humbling experience. For everybody who fainting goats are all these cute and cuddly animals or whatever. Just so you know, there's a purpose for them. The purpose of the fainting goat is to protect the rest of the herd, so that if a coyote gets into the field, the fainting goat passes out, and the coyote gets the fainting goat doesn't get all the other goats that are more valuable.
Are you making this up?
I'm not making this up. I've been told this from the commenter right now, right? So if it's wrong, blame her, don't blame me. But I'm going after this to show as a humbling experience, because you haven't thought about this yet. That goat looked at me and said, "You're not a bad enough predator." Just throwing that out there. Humans are supposed to be apex predators, and a goat looked at me and said, "No, I'm good, fam," and he still kept running.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock this knee up, but that's
He's
just
like,
a whole injury.
I'm gonna trick you up. You gonna think give you false hope. That's all it was false hope. If I just run a little bit faster, like the goat worked out. Hey, you should put the cheeseburger down, Mike.
Right.
So take that one.
Oh man. I was gonna change it up.
Change it up. I don't care.
Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to tell the same story that got us, knocked out last
don't tell that
time.
one. So, I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna wait to tell this because I really want him to hear this, just so I can see the look of disappointment on his face. So, just us. We're gonna take a brief little intermission really fast while he does that. He complains a lot. A lot. And I don't have to worry about him hearing this because he's out of the room, so he's not going to know that he complains a lot. Dad joke. That's his thing. I just get annoyed with him. He does really annoying dad jokes. Speak of the devil. Oh, have you returned?
Yeah, I'm back.
I'm glad the prodigal son could come back.
Yes.
So, I have a story. But it involves practical jokes.
So tell the story.
Okay. Have you ever played practical jokes on anybody?
I'm not admitting to nothing.
Okay. So, there was a time, I have a younger brother named Grant, and we used to play some of the worst practical jokes on each other. Like, to the point that it was, like, funny for everyone but him and me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would get that ruthless. And so one time he had this game. We were prepubescent. We're talking like 18 and 15, 18, 16, somewhere else, right? That's not what I said. Shut up. Half our viewers don't even know what this means. So anyway.
You do realize prepubescent means before puberty?
Yeah. I was
so
talking about him.
either you don't know what you just said,
I was talking about him.
or
You know what? You're arguing semantics.
you
right
delayed
now.
very late.
You remember that
life.
time I didn't interrupt your story at all?
No, I don't remember that at all. Don't remember that at all.
So, my 15-year-old brother.
I hope all 2.2K followers decide to log in right now and realize you don't know what the word prepubescent means.
No, I just misused it. It's a different
yeah,
thing.
you did.
Anyway,
Like penal gland.
Back to me, Weather Girl. That's funny, though. That's funny. So, side note for the story, unrelated to the story, is that I thought, because I asked another fellow officer who'd been in law enforcement for a while.
Not me. Not me.
He's
pointing at me.
It was not Mike. It was not Mike. I needed another word for male genitalia, and he said, use penile gland. 5 years later, I found out that the penile gland is in your brain. It is
different head.
Right, not your genitalia. So clearly, there are court documents and legal.
You remember
reports
practical jokes? I believe you remember one.
So the best was he was standing there when I was like, yeah, in the penile gland, and you were like, I don't think that means what you think it means.
Right.
And we both looked, me and that guy looked at you and we're like, yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm not gonna call Coop out like that. So, my 15-year-old brother and I are playing jokes on each other, and he had this thing where he would make love to the ladies to the beat of music. That was his. I don't know. We were young and dumb, and so he would make mix CDs. I want you to know, I prefaced this story that I was intentionally waiting for you so that I could see the look of disappointment on your face. So, he would.
If we get kicked off alive again.
He would make mix CDs of different beated music so that he could change up his rhythm. And it was weird. It was like 10 to 30 seconds clips of each song that he would put into these CDs. And so my buddy and I, ironically, his name was also Mike, we made a mix CD that started like that, but it was like every 10 seconds, it was like country music and then like heavy rap, and then it was a solid minute of techno, to the point that he yelled from the bedroom to knock it off and turn the CD off. So I tell you that story to tell you his revenge, which to this day is the reason I don't play practical jokes as much as I would like to. And I know when to stop, because I'm like, nope, this could get and escalate to a point that is unsafe. So if you don't know, believe it or not, Red Bull is not my favorite drink in the whole wide world. It's the one I drink most commonly. Accepting sponsors, Red Bull. Chocolate milk made with real milk is my favorite drink. I love chocolate milk. I don't know why. I love chocolate milk. You're welcome. Just so you know. So my little brother brings out this thermos as I'm about to go on this date with this young lady. And he goes, hey, Mom made you some chocolate milk. And I was like, sweet. My stepmom made really good chocolate milk. Like, it was on point. So I go pick this young lady up. We go to a movie. We stop at McDonald's on the way. Go see our movie. And afterwards, ironically, I take her to Olive Garden because I moved up in the world. I can afford it as a teenager. Right. And we had figured out in our teenage years we were going to interact with adult activities. Right. However, she had a younger brother, and the only way her parents would let us come back to her house is if I brought my younger brother with, because they thought our two younger brothers would kind of intercede.
Serve as chastity belts.
Right. So their house, and this is where it gets a little interesting. Colorado, they have the main floor of the house. They have
most states are like that.
They have stairs that go downstairs, which Louisiana doesn't have.
If you're on the top floor, they do. They go down.
Not into the ground, where a basement would be.
To the ground.
See, and this is why people wonder how.
Finish telling your boring story.
So it's about to get real interesting. So They had one bathroom in the house. There wasn't a bathroom in the basement. It was in the first floor. And it was like two bathrooms, one in the master bathroom, one in the main room bathrooms. So we're in the basement where this young lady and her brother's bedrooms were. And there's like a little main room with a TV and video games and stuff. So my brother and her brother are playing video games. And we are in her bedroom. Things are happening when all of a sudden I have a split second to make a decision. I can get fully dressed, go upstairs, go between the mother and father who are sitting in recliners into the bathroom. Or, option 2, is I run butt naked through that living room, up the stairs between her parents to that bathroom. And I've got to make a decision before I projectile exorcist defecate everywhere. Because my little brother made chocolate milk with X-Lax. And I'm going to let you know now, Mike. I didn't choose option A or B. It just came out. I didn't have a chance. Like, the thought went into my brain.
You didn't think that long, huh?
The thought went into my brain. And I was like, oh, no.
How does that have anything to do with, we started this session off with, and this is, I think the viewers are going to start understanding my blood pressure, is this is a guys podcast meant to help guys handle the stresses of life.
This was a stressful situation.
And we started this as, hey, this is going to be the episode where we talk crap about our wives and significant others in a way that is still somewhat glorifying. And you did neither one of those in that state.
I'm not done yet.
You interrupt. No, you're done. You ended the story.
It also talks about bad friends. Like you're being way.
So anyway, you interrupted every moment of my story possible to be as rude as possible to tell a story that has nothing to do with the topic we decided to talk about today.
Talk about bad friends.
So speaking of bad friends, derail the podcast much?
It's a funny story though, and I left out some pretty funny details. For viewer discretion.
So
sometimes you get bad friends.
Yep.
Also, I want you to know 6 months later, because I didn't talk to her for 6 months, because I was like, I'm not calling her.
I don't think she missed anything. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think she missed a single thing.
Well, 6 months later.
It's probably the best 6 months of her life.
We ended up in the same woodshop class. And the only people that knew the story were me, my little brother, and my best friend, Mike. Well,
probably her.
You know,
I feel like she knew.
was there, you know. Mike comes up to me in the podcast, or in the woodshop room, and he's like, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, what? And he's like, there's a chick on that table over there literally telling us what happened, but she can't remember the guy's name. I was like, what are you talking about? So he starts reiterating the story, and I'm like, shut up. No joke. There's just like that weird scene in a movie where the classroom parts just enough where our eyes lock, and she like beelines. Like the stool falls over. She gets up so fast, comes over, and she just starts top of her lungs like, there are spots on my wall that we can't paint. I had to replace my dresser. So I did what any good young man would do, and I looked at her and I said, you must be talking about my twin brother. And I got him on the left, and I never went back to woodshop class ever again.
I see why you joined the Army.
I didn't know. I joined the Marines first.
Yeah. You still joined the Army.
Yeah, well, after the Marines.
They say if you're not a good Marine, you join the Army.
That's not what they say.
That's what I heard.
For all you Marines out there, I'm sorry. Mike does nothing about the military.
What I heard. Nope.
He still thinks G.I. Jane's a real thing, so.
I saw the movie.
Yeah, the movie's real.
It's real.
It's not based on a true story.
It doesn't have to be based on a true story.
Just saying, that's not how it really works.
So you know what? Okay, so let's talk about dumb things that guys do. I don't think it's dumb that guys do. I think it's that if you take, for example, we have our bald computer guy here right now, right?
Yep.
We've met him 3 times, 4 times, something like that. Not very many times.
Handful.
We have not had a single conversation about Bigfoot. However, I'm willing to bet if I was like, hey, what do you think about Bigfoot? We could have a conversation. That conversation might last for hours on end.
True.
what I've noticed is with guys, there seems to be a fascination because we already derailed it. We're just going to go down this topic line now.
Jump the rabbit hole.
With guys, you can have a conversation about Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires, and honestly, they'll get really in depth. You know, like there's not a lot of guys that I know that like Twilight vampires.
No,
there's a lot that I know that are quite angry that Twilight tried to imitate vampires and completely ruin vampires for everybody.
Like Blade wasn't even that great as it went down the line. First couple, I'll give you all day. But towards the end, Blade Trinity and all that other hoopla.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
Like, don't get me wrong. I would watch the entire Blade series again before you ever catch me watching Twilight with glittery vampires. Like, I'm supposed to fear
they
you at
shine
night.
in the sunlight.
Right. Like, come on.
They shine like a diamond in the sunlight. They don't just catch fire.
Yeah. What is it? Did you imprint on her? What? What does that even mean? That's legit.
I thought imprinting was the werewolf.
Yeah. Stupid is what that is.
Yeah. My wife got so mad at me because she was watching the movies. I hope she's listening to this right now. She was watching the movies and got so mad at me and made me leave the living room because I was ruining the movie for her. Because like, this is stupid. Why would you do this? This is stupid.
Right.
Why would you think, and just one after the other. But it was like, I remember growing up, my dad, he loved scary movies. That was something him and his mom did when he was growing up. And he didn't have a lot of very fond memories with his parents. So that was one of the things that he did where my mom would go to bed and we would sneak up and go watch some scary movies with my dad. Because at nighttime he would do scary movies, but he would do it every light in the house is off. He made popcorn.
Right, like you went all out for that.
You went all out. Might as well have been in a theater. Now, granted, it was on a 35-inch TV or whatever back in the early 2000s.
Right.
So nobody was rocking the 65 and 70-inch TVs.
Like occasionally on the side, you got to tap that side.
If you had the big TV, it was the big like cabinet style
like the big
television that you could only see from one angle.
Like 4 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah, it's
obnoxious.
6 feet across, but you could only watch it from those 6 feet because if you were at the angle, it was all blocked out because of the screen.
They had like 4 wheels and one of them was always jacked up.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was, we would watch scary movies at night. So I remember, watching, I'm not going to start naming all the, different vampire movies, but we would watch a lot of these movies and zombie movies and stuff like that where it was always thrilling. And so you have something like that, and then all of a sudden Twilight comes on with these, for lack of, I think it's probably the most accurate, sissified, creatures that they've got, they romantic. Well, it's so a lot of the vampire things, like I get. Some of the older vampire movies, honestly, those were romanticized, but they just in my opinion, they neutered the whole vampire race.
They did, 110%.
So, but you get guys where they'll have in-depth conversations like that, and you can go up to a guy you don't even know, not even know, just hey man, what's your zombie apocalypse plan? I promise you, he's got one.
Yeah,
like not once has been like, what? But if you go up to, I'm not in the dating world. Haven't been in the dating world since BB, right? So if I was in a dating person,
this is gonna come back and bite you, and you're gonna have to get a shirt that says "Ain't been dating since BB."
If one of our listeners wants to make shirts and send them to us, by all means, I'll wear it on the show. I'll give a shout out wearing that shirt. But anyway,
she said, "Look, maybe you weren't the target audience."
So. We take and
she's on here just roasting you in these
comments. I don't care.
I love it.
So we take if I was in the dating world, right?
Okay.
And I go up to any female out there and I go, "Hey, what's your zombie apocalypse plan?" I could go up to my wife right now and go, "Hey, what's your zombie apocalypse plan?" I guarantee what she ain't got.
I promise you, I feel like she'd be like, "Wait till John gets here."
No. I promise you that's nowhere in it. It will be now. She'll put that in the comments. She'll be something like that because she's going to support you.
Ask yourself this question, though, Mike. Legit, zombie apocalypse happens. Would you rather go the rest of the zombie apocalypse with or without me?
Depends. Are you a zombie or not?
No.
If you're not a zombie, then I don't know. Because so many times that you aggravate the ever-loving shit out of me, it'd be the time that I feel like if the zombies are attacking humanity. What is that?
Oh, that's a notification that our live will end in 5 minutes. How long have we been live for? Not that long, huh?
Well,
55 minutes.
so I guess you only get to do an hour. Yeah,
for live.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
all right.
well, so my thing with the zombie apocalypse is if that's going on, then obviously society has crumbled,
right.
and I can get away with taking you out and not having to answer for it.
Like taking me out or like,
Oh
like
shoot, it would definitely be.
a violent death?
I'm gonna say life altering, because I don't know the phrase.
Altering or ending?
I don't know if I could. I don't know the
Altering
word. I don't
or
know
ending?
the wording that I could put
Just
on TikTok
altering
without
or
them
ending?
saying, "Hey, you're done."
A or E?
So we're gonna,
A or E?
we'll see. We'll see.
A or E?
We'll see.
Okay, all right.
So,
Well, just don't do a headshot
so
so that I can still be, around.
guys,
I'll just
we
be a
appreciate
zombie
y'all
that
taking
can't bite
taking a
me.
moment to listen to us today and watching our live episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm not saying we answered any problems or we probably brought a bunch of problems up.
Right.
If anything, we hope it was entertaining. If y'all like what you heard, give us a shout out. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. But also shoot us an email, coffeeandthebull at yahoo.com. We still want to get some emails from you.
Yep, definitely. Ladies,
and,
work on your zombie apocalypse plan.
Yeah. So
right, have that
for
question
now,
in the bag.
I don't care if he's got anything or not.
Stupid.
Toodaloo.
How now, brown cow? So stupid.